week in, week out, he has our team and prepared and ready to go. Everyone says it's an Andy Reid offense. He has 51%. I'm not going to say it's not, but it is a collective. It is a collective group putting this offense together. And I ask everybody, come on in, see who's standing up in front of our offense, getting us ready for situational football. Who's in front of us week in, week out at halftime, trying to make adjustments. Who is the guy that's rallying this group and has the emotion as a player and as a coach to keep us firing as an offensive unit? And that's Eric Bieniemy. And I've been a big fan of him my entire career. He's done unbelievable things for my skill set personally and my mentality in terms of helping me grow as a player, and more than deserving. I'm sick of hearing all these names I've never heard of come across the ticker.
Shut up, Brian. Welcome to the pod. Welcome to Brian's World. I am your host, Kansas City's favorite son, the ambassador of Kansas City, Brian B. Shynin. And I'm so blessed and honored that you're here with me, spending a little bit of time in Brian's World, because I know and I realize you literally could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me, and I love and appreciate you for that. While you're here, please tap into my fam at Foolish Club Media. Got all the Chiefs podcasts that you want. Anything catching you up with the NFL and Chiefs related, we got you at Foolish Club Media. Rate, subscribe, and review, like, share, comment, all of that at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. And of course, while you're at YouTube, subscribe and tap into that Brian B. Shynin page at B Shynin. I'm trying to build this YouTube page up, y'all. I'm like 290 away from 500 subscribers, which we could get this monetized bus going. You know what I'm saying? So I can do this full time. You feel me? But I got everything you need for Hustle and Shine in the morning. That content is on my YouTube page. Of course, Brian's World drops not every Wednesday now during the postseason and the off season. Now it'll be probably every other Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep this thing going with Brian's World. Also, Motivational Minute, R&B Shining, everything that I do, man, is right there on my B Shining page on YouTube. This week's episode: why bringing back Eric Bieniemy is good for business. The Chiefs looks like we got a new offensive coordinator, old offensive coordinator. But yeah, I'll explain why EB is needed on this team. You saw it last year. Why? The NFL playoffs. I don't know what you all pay attention to during this time of year with football, but it's the best football you can watch. And I see exactly what the Chiefs are really missing. We've discussed it before. Bus fares returning to KCATA, and this hurts me because I discuss who this really affects and who it really hurts in Kansas City. And there was an interesting debate that me and Deanna Hustle had on Hustle and Shine in the morning this past week. Is music more or less raunchy now, or is it the same as it was in the 90s? I'll talk about all of that coming up on this episode of Brian's World.
When I first got in the league, I was a running back, and EB coached running backs. You feel me? So, like, he made me understand who I was as a player. And to him, it's bigger than football. Like, playing football is part of the blessing. But outside of football, who you are as a person, how you carry yourself every day as a person, that's the message what he was delivering to me, dog. That made me realize who I was. That made me understand my true power. And truth be told, not a lot of people will understand EB as a coach because he's a yeller. He like to yell. He like to do this and that. But that don't faze me, bro. I must be able to sit there and listen to you and talk to you and do whatever you got to do. As long as you get the message to me.
What I don't understand about this move is the opposition of bringing back somebody who was a voice that was needed, bringing back a disciplinarian, bringing back somebody who's familiar with the scheme, and it won't be a hard fit. It'll be a easy catch-up period with Eric Bieniemy as he returns to be the Chiefs offensive coordinator. And let's get right down to it. Look at the gold standard in which Eric Bieniemy set when he was here being offensive coordinator. The Chiefs were number 1 in points at 30.3 points per game, and this is from 2018 until 2022, when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl against the Eagles, and was Eric Bieniemy's last season being offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. The Chiefs are also number 1 in total yards with 404.2 yards per game, and number 1 in third down percentage at 49.1. The third down efficiency when EB was here, I think that speaks more to what he can bring to this offense that Matt Nagy just simply couldn't hang in. And I'm gonna do a lot of EB comparisons to Matt Nagy during this segment too, because I just believe that there are some distinct differences in their coaching styles and their personalities and who they are as people. And as to it could be a correlation as to the downfall of the Chiefs offense the past several years since Matt Nagy took back over the offensive coordinator. So let's take a look at why EB makes sense. The biggest flaw for the Chiefs offense last year, and there were many of them, but the biggest one, lack of run game. When EB was here his last year, he had Pacheco. Turned Pacheco almost into an immediate star. EB leaves, and then all of a sudden, Pacheco's game has gone down tremendously. I don't think that's no coincidence. Look at the Bears and what they've done, as Eric Bieniemy was the Bears running back coach this year. So the Bears averaged the third most rushing yards per attempt at 4.9. Can you imagine this Chiefs offense getting 4.9 yards per carry from their running backs and how much of a difference it would make? Their lead running back, DeAndre Swift, one of the better backs in the league, he set a career high in rushing yards, had over 1,087, and touchdowns with 9. How come he didn't do this with Detroit? How come he didn't do this those other years that he was with the Bears? But all of a sudden, he gets career highs when Eric Bieniemy is the running backs coach. That's no coincidence, y'all. And that is what this Chiefs offense needs desperately, among the other things that we're going to discuss. But another thing that, along with Pacheco being a 7th round pick and what you saw what EB did for him in 2022, well, damn, he did the same thing this year with Kyle Monangai, because he was a 7th round pick for the Bears, and now he's a budding star in the league. So what I'm saying is, you look at the running backs that the Chiefs had, and Eric Bieniemy was the Chiefs running backs coach before he was the offensive coordinator. The Chiefs always have had a damn good running game under Andy Reid with various running backs. Sharkandrick West, he had to step in plenty of times for injured backs and got in that role seamlessly. He looked like every other back that was ahead of him. Spencer Ware, you remember him? He was damn good for the Chiefs. Damian Williams, he was damn good for the Chiefs. I mean, we could go down the entire roster from when EB was here and how that running game. Jamal Charles. I'm just saying, look at what EB adds to this room. Something that the Chiefs need. And I just don't understand why people in KC sports media are playing down Eric Bieniemy's effectiveness, as if they had put on a pair of pads and have been in a huddle with him being an offensive coordinator, like they know how he coaches. See, there's something that people in sports media, specifically Kansas City sports media, just they can't grasp all the way because they just don't have the experience from their life prior to their career in any type of sports, in any capacity. Because the coaches' relationships with their players mean something. And that's where Matt Nagy, to me, in my opinion, could not reach anybody on this offense, not even Mahomes. I think Matt Nagy lacks severely the closeness that Eric Bieniemy has with his players. See, I think that there are several players coming out and defending Eric Bieniemy. The coach's relationship to the players matters. How many times have you seen a player talk about a coach, no matter what sport it is, basketball, baseball, soccer, football, whatever, and they'll brag about one of their favorite coaches, and the thing that they'll say all the time is, I'll run through a brick wall through him. You think anybody on that offense feels that way about Matt Nagy? You think they'll run through a brick wall for him? Not saying, I'm not trying to discount Matt Nagy and his expertise and what he's done in his football career. But let's be straight. You can see it. You can see it in the way the players respond. You can see it in the players' effort. You can see it in if the players are improving or not. Because when Eric Bieniemy was ahead of the offense, you saw progression with certain players, mainly the running backs in their positions. There's been so much conversation about the assistant coaches and if, they matter or how much they input they have. Or, Andy Reid's got 51% of the offense. Okay, cool. That's fine and all that. We understand that Andy Reid has the final say with all of this. We get that. But you cannot sit here and tell me that whoever's with him, whatever assistant he has, whether it's Nagy or Kafka or Bieniemy or whoever it is, you can't tell me that they don't have some type of influence on the game plan and what the Chiefs are going to do. So you sitting here telling me that when Andy Reid and the offensive coaching staff, they're putting together the game plan, right? And Andy Reid says, okay, on the first 15, we're going to pass, and we might run here, we might do a draw here, we might do a screen here, we're going to do this pass play. With Eric Bieniemy's personality, and we all know how he is, in a good way, not afraid to let his opinion be known. Good, bad, or indifferent. You don't think he's going to speak up and say, hey, coach, don't you think on this, 2nd and 3 that, having a run play right there might break up the monotony of the passing plays that we're calling right now? So you don't think that Eric Bieniemy's influence in those game planning situations, those game planning meetings, you don't think that has any effectiveness on how the Chiefs play? I call bullshit, and I'm here to tell you that it does. And having another set of eyes that's totally different from your eyes, another perspective, another point of view that could get your game stronger. Andy Reid knows he needs Eric Bieniemy for that. Andy Reid knows what we all know, that he's not accustomed to running the ball like he should be, especially in today's NFL. Because for the last 20, 25 years, the NFL has tried to form itself into a passing league. Higher ratings, more points, you get it. This, that, and the third. But did you watch football this year? Matter of fact, have you watched football the last 2 years? Because the running back is back. I've talked about it on this pod before about how important the running game is for you to be able to pass in today's NFL. Defenses are smaller, so more offenses now, I feel like, are taking advantage of light boxes. There's no more Ted Washingtons in the NFL. No more 6'4", 350, 380-pound nose guards, nose tackles, defensive tackles, gobbling up those inside runs. Those guys are not in the league anymore for real. It might be 2 or 3 of those guys total in the league. Back then, in the 90s, it was hell of them. In the 80s, it was hell of them. But now you got these light boxes with these light defensive tackles, these light-ass linebackers who's now designed to cover, some receivers, cover tight ends, try to cover the backside the backfield. Not necessarily your old school traditional, head-thumping linebacker who wants to get in there and get his nose dirty and make some tackles. So football has kind of transformed, y'all. It's gone back in time, and it's a cycle. It is what it is. The running game is more important now than it has been in the past 25, 30 years now because of how defenses are playing. They're playing too high safety, the cover 2 shell type deal to stop all the passing. The run is right there for the taking. And the Chiefs have not been able to take advantage of that. Part of that is, I believe, because Eric Bieniemy was not on this staff, and there was nobody in Andy's ear trying to emphasize being more creative with the run game, trying to invest more resources into the run game, trying to get better players to come in to fit the run scheme that we need. And let me say this too. Ever since the Chiefs have not carried a fullback on the roster, the run game has just totally been invisible. Just taking a major back step. So I hope that EB, and I think that's one clear indicator that, oh, there's a little change in here now, is that the Chiefs will go get a fullback. Remember the Chiefs with Anthony Sherman and how the running game was always effective with him? And we talking about Eric Bieniemy, man. He's been around some of the greatest of the greats. And how, to me, that is one of the biggest factors in hiring Eric Bieniemy, is because he don't give a damn who you are. You're going to get this work. He don't give a damn if you're Patrick Mahomes. He's going to call you what you are. He's the only one, I believe, in that building to, whenever Patrick Mahomes makes an error or does something wrong, of course, Andy Reid will have his 2 cents and he'll say what he needs to say. But as far as assistant coaches and other guys saying anything to Mahomes, you think Mahomes is listening to anybody else in that building? He'll listen to EB, though, because Eric Bieniemy knows how to talk to these guys in a way he can push certain guys' buttons to make them competitive pricks, to make them play a little better, to make them concentrate more, to make them study more, to make them put in more effort before and after practice. He done did it with some of the best, one of the best running backs in the history of the NFL. He did it to him.
You had to wait to get tape.
Yes.
You had time.
Not really.
That's all right. We'll just find you. It's all right. We'll just find you. We'll find you as a group, and we'll have the team find you, too. I'm okay with eliminating the morning meeting, okay? If you're going to get up early in the morning, get yourself down here and get ready, okay? And we can do a script review meeting in the locker room, okay? We can do that. But if not, we can continue to treat you like the college incoming freshman.
Who I thought. Okay.
Wait, that's the bull. You know what that means.
I'm just telling you what was going through my mind, because the last play was clearly a bust.
What he calling the huddle?
I'm just telling you what I was thinking, okay?
What he calling the huddle? What he calling the huddle? That's all I ask. What did he call in the huddle?
All right, whatever.
What did he call in the huddle?
All right, I'm telling you what I was thinking, man, okay?
I don't care what you were
It's the
thinking.
end of
What did he
it.
call it?
All right?
What did he call?
I don't know.
Let's go, 2-8. Get in there. Buckle up. Hey, back up.
No, let's run it.
Come on. Don't be too deep. Don't be too deep. Remember, 2-8, continue. Patience, patience, patience. 2-8, you got to pay attention, 2-8. 2-8, how you doing, man? You talking to me now? You can cool down? We're going to get the octagon, bro. We're going to put it in the middle of the stadium. Me and his ass going to go.
Let me tell y'all something. Matt Nagy can't talk to them players like that.
Hell no!
He ain't got that type of relationship with those players. Maybe a few guys. Maybe like Noah Gray. Maybe like Gardner Minshew, he might have that type of relationship with. But Nagy can't talk to all of those guys like that. And that is the way that you tap into a player and have them play harder for you than they would for another coach. Is when, we can be honest. We can go around. I'm gonna hold you accountable. You gonna hold me accountable. We holding each other accountable. Nagy ain't talking to them players like that, man, because he can't. He doesn't have that type of relationship. And if you think that doesn't matter on the field, then you have never played any sports. And if you don't think that matters on the field, then I don't know what type of sports you be watching. See, a lot of people, that's the problem. A lot of people don't even be watching the whole game. Some people spot watch or they'll highlight watch and won't even get the gist of what's really going on. It's, a game is a story a lot of times. Not that you can't get that from a highlight reel. So, there are just a lot of nuances that Eric Bieniemy has. There are a lot of X factors that Eric Bieniemy has that Matt Nagy just lacks, or a lot of other offensive coordinators. But specifically Nagy, You can't tell me there won't be a difference. That's the point I'm trying to get to. Some people are saying, well, there's no difference in. Yes, it is. You're going to see it in the effort, and you're going to see it with that running game when EB takes over this offense. I just think that the respect level between EB and Nagy, they're totally different. They're totally different. Not saying that players are disrespecting Matt Nagy. Not saying that at all. But there is just a different commitment level that you have with the coach who comes off as if they care about you and they care about you progressing as a player.